Get through this. All right. Let's see. Do we have everybody in here? No, but we have a lot of people in here. So let's put this up on the screen just to see how you're doing today. I'll open up the chat window so I can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What's your Valentine's Day mood today? Starting out. Oh, SpongeBob. Look at him, hearts in the air, carrying. He's always the eternal optimist, isn't he? And you got the number 2 over here. You got 3 with that looks a little skeptical of it. And then, oh yeah, there's number 4. So just seeing where you're at today. I'm probably at number 1 this morning. I'm feeling good. Got a good night's sleep. I'm ready for Valentine's Day. I'm going to cook my wife a steak dinner tonight at home because the restaurants just get crazy. So I see lots of 3s and 1s. And there's a 2 in there too. There's a 2. Sid's got it at the 2 there. Lots of 1s and 3s. That's cool. All right. Well, hope you have a great day. Whatever you do today, let's go over and look at our programming lesson here. Let's get started on this today. All right, going to our grade screen. We've had 4 assignments. The logic of and, or, and not was due Sunday. So today we have the 4.04 lists, and next week we'll have the module 4 project, which will wrap up this module, and we'll move on to something else. But let's look at lists here. All right. This is a useful thing. Learning how to do lists here in Python will be beneficial for us. Making a list and check it twice. Oh, where have we heard that before? Oh, that's the wrong holiday. That's not Valentine's Day. Make a list, check it. Types of ice cream flavors, top Google searches, animals that are considered endangered, names of Lego sets, presidential candidates. All of these have something in common. They are lists of values. Lists. Their things, their names, their occurrences. They are collections of data. So these values, if we scattered them separately, it'd be like an endless pile of Post-it notes. But when we organize them into lists, they suddenly make a whole lot more sense. We use lists all the time in life. In programming, you can organize collections of data together. So when you need them, they're nice and tidy. So we're going to learn how lists can be used to store a collection of data, and then how to use a for loop to go through the lists. So yes, we'll be writing a list program this week. So organizing your list. When you search for music in iTunes, you can search by song or genre or artist or even by the rating, right? So each of these pulls from a set of data that's already programmed into iTunes. And when you add music to your library, it gets added to the program. When working with large sets of data, it helps to be able to store and organize them. So Python lets you do that with a list. Let's see. It says list is a structure, and oh, they misspelled Python. Oh, I love it when textbooks misspell words. It just cracks me up. It's a structure in Python that stores multiple values. So you can add data to the list. You can delete the list. You can change it. You can delete pieces of data. And when creating lists, Python assigns each an index position. That's the specific position of a character in a string or an element in a list. By the way, remember Python starts counting at 0. So the first thing in your list is item number 0. 0, 1, 2, 3. All right. There it is. The first index position of Python 0, not 1. Let's compare a non-programming list to a programming list to see how it works. So notice in a regular list, we're going to start with number 1, but Python, we're going to start with 0. All right. So here is a non-programming list. Oh, it's moving. Stop moving. I'm not ready to move yet. GeekyCon. Say we're planning on going to GeekyCon. It's kind of like Comic-Con, except it's more geeky. Here's the to-do list. If it's not programming list, number 1, get our membership online before the deadline. 2, book your hotel with your friends. 3, plan your geeky costume. Number 4, gather your costume supplies. 5, sew your costume, because no one's going to have one the way you want it. You're going to have to make your own. 6, construct your dragon wings, because what geeky costume wouldn't have dragon wings. Number 7, book your travel. 8, download the convention app so you don't miss anything. 9, pack everything, and 10, go to GeekyCon. But if we wrote this list in Python, look at there, it's a little different. In fact, that it's numbered 0 to 9 instead of 1. Otherwise, it's the exact same list. See, everything's the same. Construct your dragon wings, pack everything. Except in Python, it's going to number it from 0 to 9. That's the only difference. You make a list on paper, you make a list in Python. All right. Let's look at page 3. All right, what can you do with lists? Well, Python's list structure lets you be organizational genius. Create the list of your dreams. You can add, delete, manipulate items by referencing their index number. Like 0, you can give your list a name, like GeekyCon to-do list. And that will store as many items or elements as you need to add. You can delete any element that you want to remove. You can put new elements. You can replace elements. Just take out number 3 and put this in number 3 instead. You can access or reference elements. So let's look at the syntax. What if you want to make a list of all the things you need to do? The list ensures you don't forget any. So here's how you would make it in Python. You name it GeekyCon to-do list equals, and then you use these brackets. See, it's the square ones, not the parentheses, the brackets. And then, since this list is not a list of numbers, it's a list of words, you got to put each item in quotes. Quote, get membership online before deadline, unquote. You separate everything in your list with a comma. Comma, book hotel with friends. Comma, plan costume. Comma, gather. This is the same list we saw on the last page. It's just put in a Python format. All right, so that's how the Python, when you're writing a program and making a list in Python, here it shows you exactly what to do. All right, what if you want to make a list of numbers? What's different? You don't have to put the quotes. Right, quotes are only if you're using string values, letters, not numbers. Numbers, we just make a list. GeekyCon memberships per day list. 1005, 23, 46, 708, 902, 432. All right. Again, you put them in these brackets and you separate them with commas. What if you don't know what type of list you need? You can create an empty list you can add to later. We named it empty list and just created a pair of brackets with a space in between. Just empty brackets. Say, okay, I've created the list, and then later on in my program, I'll add things to the list. Maybe I'm going to have people input something, and then I'll just add it to the list, whatever they input. So I don't know what the list is yet. I just know I'm going to need one. So I could name a list, and I probably wouldn't call it empty list because I know what I'm going to fill with it maybe. But there it is. So let's look at some programming with Python and doing that. So let's see. Here you go. Traversing a list. Just so we know how it works. Does a list have to have a name? Answer, yes. Yes, it doesn't have to have the word list. You can name it whatever, right? But a lot of times that tends to make it more meaningful because when you name something, you want people to be able to look at it and know exactly what that is. So if this is a list of something, usually you would put list in the name because it might help people understand what that line of code is doing. But it does have to have a name, yes. How do you create a list? All right, we just looked at that. You assign your list a name using an equal sign and then use brackets to tell Python you want to create a list. Inside the brackets, include the contents of your list separated by commas. And remember, if you're using strings, string literals, use quotation marks. So here's an example. To-do list equals, that means we're assigning something to this named list right here. There's our bracket. There's our string literal in quotes, wake up. The comma separates them, brush teeth, get dressed, eat breakfast. So we made a 4-item to-do list. How do you find out how long a list is? Oh, this is good. Maybe you got a long list and you don't know how many items there are. You can use this command, length. This is a variable. This is the command right here, len. So I want to save how long it is. Tell me how many items in it. So I'm going to make this variable that I called length. And I said len parentheses to-do list. So tell me the length of to-do list. How many items are in that list? This command will do that for you. The LEN. So how would I access an item on the list? Well, if I know which number it is, print to-do list item number 1. Now that's going to be the second item on your list, right? Because really the item number 1 is labeled index 0. If I say print to-do list 0, that'll print the first thing on the list. Remember, Python starts kind of at 0. But this would say index item number 1, which would be the second thing on the list, print that from my to-do list. So how do we traverse or access the values? All right, we can use this loop. For n in range from 0 to the length of the to-do list. This is how we print everything in the list, right? If we didn't know how long the list was, we could use this command, length of the list. So start at 0 and print what the first thing item is. The string number n, which would be 0, 0, and the to-do list n. So print 0, and then whatever's on 0 in my list, and then print 1, and whatever item 1 is in my list, and print 2, and print item whatever 2 is in my list. And they put an exclamation mark at the end just to have some fun with it. But it will keep doing that until it gets to the end of your list, because this command tells it to stop when you get to the end of the list. All right, so that's some nice stuff. How do you append? That means change or add. To append or add, there's an append function. To-do list dot, look, there's a period between there, append, stay in pajamas. See, that just says, I don't know how many things are in the list. I don't know what index number this needs to be, but add this to the end. Append, add this to the end. Stay in pajamas. And it'll automatically add that to the list you already had saved. If we want to delete a list, an item on the list, DEL. Delete the second thing that was on my list. Well, the third thing. The thing that's in position 2. 0, 1, 2. Delete that one. Delete number 2. With the DEL command. All right. How do we just change one? Maybe I don't want to delete it. I want to replace it. So this says to-do list 4. So whatever is in number 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, make that this now. I don't know what it was, but now it's going to be find clothes. Okay, so this here is a nice cheat sheet to tell you all the different commands you can use with your lists. Oh, this is great for writing a program about lists. I've got exactly all the commands to play with my list. All right, let's look at their examples that they have here. All right, list in Python. Oh, I love this, and I remember this list. Define main names. Their list is called names. And then this names, they put Chewie, Captain Kirk, Hermione, Storm, and Buzz. Okay, so they put 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items in their list. And it says length is going to be however long this is, which should be length of 5, right? So it says at GeekyCon, print this. Print at GeekyCon, you have, and it's going to print this length, however many it is, characters to find. Oh, there's a game at GeekyCon. You got to find all these characters. They are, and then print the list. Look, print names. Just prints the list. Boy, that was easy to print the list. Print names. All right, let's run this, see what it looks like. There it is. At GeekyCon, you have 5 characters to find. They are, and look, it prints it just like we have it up there, except it only used 1 quote instead of 2. That's fine. Chewie, Captain Kirk, Hermione, Storm, and Buzz. Very simple, very easy to use. If we change anything in this list, it'll change what prints out. Very easy. We can add things to the list. We didn't even have to know how many things were in the list. We just told it whatever the length is of the list, print that. 5. There's 5 characters. Okay, let's see what they do in the second example. List and program. Find names. Names. Chewie, Captain Kirk, Hermione, Storm, Buzz. Okay, same list. Length, names. All right. Now here's what's different. first is whatever is in my names list at position 0, right? That's going to be the first thing in my list. That should be equal to Chewy, because Chewy is in index position 0. And the last one is going to be in my list and do length -1. Now, why do we do -1? Because if Python is looking at this list and we said, what is the length? Well, the length, it says, is 5. There's 5 things in there. And what are they? Position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nothing at index 5. So if we just told it to print last, if we said last equal names 5, the length, there's nothing there. We have to subtract 1 because of the way Buzz counts. So we're printing first, whatever it put into that variable first, which should be the 0 indexed item in our list. Blank is the first character I want to meet. Blank will be the last character I meet. All right, and in program. So let's run that. See exactly what it looks like. Chewy is the first character I want to meet. Buzz will be the last character I meet. So I'm going to meet these in order, apparently. Buzz is the number 4 indexed item, which we put as last right there when we said, take whatever the length is, subtract 1, and that will tell me the last item on the list. All right, let's look at the next sample program. Define main. Names equal Chewy, Captain Kirk, Hermione, Storm, and Buzz. Length equaling, so far nothing different up there. Now we're using a loop. All right, we need to know how to use a loop. For in range from 0 to the length, right? So a loop from 0 to 5 will start at 0, then do 1, then do 2, then do 3, then do 4. And when it gets to 5, it stops. Remember, it doesn't do the loop at the end. So this works great. It'll go from 0 to 4. And it'll say, hello, whatever is in the list at that index number. First, it'll say hello to the 0 character, Chewy. Then it'll go through the loop again, and this will be a 1. And it'll be a 1 at that point. So it'll say next to the 1 index character, and 2, and so forth. Let's run it. There it is. It said hello to everyone in our list using a simple for loop in our list. All right, let's look at the 4th example. Still have it. Chewy, Captain Kirk, Hermione, Storm, Buzz. Length equals length. All right. Print the original list, and then it'll print the whole list. Now we're going to print a blank line, and then we're going to write, hashtag. So this is just a comment to tell us what this is doing. Replace a value in the list. So under names, index position 1, whatever was in index position 1, make it now be Spock. I don't care what it was. Now it's going to be Spock. And then we're going to print Spock replaces Captain Kirk because the number 1 position was Captain Kirk. And then we're going to print the list again and a blank line. Now we're going to append the value to the end of the list. Say names append. Remember, that just adds another one on the list. So now we'll have 6 things in our list because we're adding Rex after Buzz. Print Rex is added to the list. Print the list again with a blank line. Now we're going to delete a value. So we're using all these commands in one program just to show you how to do that. Delete whatever number 4 is. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be the 5th item. That was Buzz. Buzz is deleted, and print our list again. End of program. All right, so let's see all of this. It's going to be doing a lot. It's going to print our list. It's going to replace Captain Kirk with Spock and print the list again. Then it's going to add Rex to the list, print the list again. Then it's going to delete Buzz and print the list again. Here it is. The original list: Chewy, Captain Kirk, Hermione, Storm, Buzz. Then it had that command to replace the number 1 item with Spock. Spock replaces Captain Kirk. Chewy, Spock, Hermione, Storm, Buzz. See, still 5 items. It's just this one's gone and it's been replaced. Then we had the append command. Rex is added. Chewy, Spock, Hermione, Storm, Buzz, just like the list above it, plus Rex. And then finally, Buzz is deleted from the list right there. Buzz is deleted. Chewie, Spock, Hermione, Storm, Rex. It skips Buzz because we deleted the number 4 item. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, wonderful example right there on using multiple commands in our list. All right, look at the last example here. Lists in Python. Define main. Names, Chewie, Spock, Hermione, Storm, Rex. That's how we ended up the list after the last commands. Photos. And we made a list of numbers. 45, 12, 33, 24, 106. And we've created a variable called total, and we've set it equal to 0. All right, so for loop starts at 0, and it goes to the end of names, however long names is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 0 to 5. Print names, whatever position number it is. So the first thing it'll do is it'll print Chewie because it's at position 0. And then it prints this actual, what I put in quotes, space, took, space. Then it's going to use this same index number of 0 and print this number in position 0. Now remember, we have to use string because we're wanting to print a number along with letters. So we got to tell it to print this like a string. So it's going to say, Chewie took 45 photos. And then it's going to add to the total. The total started out at 0. And it's going to say, all right, however many photos that Chewie did, add that to our total. So the first time it's going to add 45 to the 0. So after it runs through this loop and prints every character and the number of photos and adds those photos up, when it gets out of the loop, it'll print total photos taken. String, whatever total ends up equaling. Run program. Chewie took 45 photos. Spock took 12. Hermione took 33. Storm took 24. But Rex is the real camera hound. 106 photos for Rex. Total photos taken, 220. So notice when it went through the loop, it did Chewie and it did 45. Then it went through the loop again, Spock and 12. Then it went through the loop again, Hermione and 33. Storm, 24. Rex, 106. And then it exited the loop because it got to 5. It did 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm supposed to stop at 5. So it got out of the loop and printed the total, which was 220, adding all those together. All right, so there's 5 pages of sample programs there, in addition to having all the commands listed individually up here. All right, very nice help for us this week. All right, let's take a look at our assignment. Follow the assignment template. Here's the rubric. Let's see, let me make sure I do have a template in our Google Classroom. So I pull up the Google Classroom. Week 24, week of Valentine's there. 404 lists template. Let's look at the template. What do we need to do in this week? All right, so we're going to write a program to ask the user for their favorite item in some category. All right, so you get to pick a category and make a list of your 5 favorite things in that category. So you've got freedom here. That's the great thing about programming. It's fun to make your own stuff, not something I pick for you. Pick your own list. Gives you some suggestions in case you're like, well, I don't know what to pick. Actors, books, cars, something else, favorite candy bars, favorite sports teams, whatever. You're going to make a list of your 5 favorite things. So you're going to ask the user what their favorites are. Right? What's your favorite chocolate bar? Ask the user. So this means you're going to have an input statement, right? If you're asking the user, you have to have an input statement. Then, by creating a list, a loop, and if statements, print a message that lets the user know if their favorites matches the ones in your list. All right? What's your favorite chocolate bar? I love a Hershey's Almond. Let me look at my list. Nope. Okay, that didn't match my list. After you do that, after you ask them what their favorite is, check your list using a loop and if statements, and you print the message that says, yes, either, hey, that's my favorite too, or, oh, that's not on my list, whatever you want it to say. Afterwards, print your entire list and number each of them. There's an example back in there where they did that. 0, 1, 2, 3. I think it was on page 3, maybe. All right. Be sure to write your pseudocode. Just what's your plan here? Make a list of superheroes. You know, whatever your plan is. So, code your program. Remember, always a heading that includes your name, date, short description of the program. Make sure you indent things properly. They don't work if you don't indent them properly. You can put extra spaces to if it makes it read better. Because notice on their program, you know, they put some extra spaces. If we go back to page 4, some of you guys don't think about that, but it's easier to read a program. Look, they put an extra line in here between define main and the list. And they put an extra line in here between the length and print. It just makes it easier to read when you have spaces in there. And Python don't care if you use spaces. It's totally fine with that. And be sure and use meaningful names. All right, here's a sample of someone else's program. What is your favorite Star Wars character? And so the person obviously entered input, and they entered Chewbacca. And they checked their list, and it says, cool, we both like Chewbacca. And then they printed, here are my top 5 favorites. Number 1's Chewbacca, 2's Yoda, 3's Rey, 4 R2-D2, 5 Obi-Wan Kenobi. Put your code here. Answer the questions at the bottom. All right. Questions. Looks pretty handy, huh? I think it looks good. All right. Well, if you don't have any questions, I'll let you go. You can start writing your program, whatever you need to do. It's Wednesday since we didn't have a Monday this week. But this isn't due till Sunday night. If you're behind on any programs, get those written too. Let's get it done. But that's all we got. Have fun with the list. Find a fun list. Do something fun. If you want to put more than 5 things on your list, I guess you can. It requires 5, but I guess 6 meets the requirement if you want. So anyway, have some fun with it. Pick a fun list for yourself and have a great week. This is the only A day because Friday's a B day. So we got 3 B days this week, and today's the only A day. So no other classes. You'll have to email me if you need help with anything. All right, guys. Have a great week.